Is a public or private university better for you in Germany? Today I'll give you the complete overview of these two, and at the end of the video I'll share my own opinion on them so that you can make a good decision. This will take me about 8 minutes to explain, and if you don't have 8 minutes to watch this video, your chances of making a terrible mistake with German universities is gonna be much higher. I don't want that to happen. One of the most important factors when it comes to education is the cost of it. I think we all got traumatized and shocked by the crazy high tuition fees all over the world. Germany, on the other hand, is known for its free education. Now, the difference in the cost between private and public universities is pretty big. So most of the public universities in Germany offer education for free. There are some exceptions when you study in the region of Baden-Württemberg or at the Technical University of Munich. They have tuition fees for international students. But at all the other public universities, you only need to pay the semester contribution. At my university, it's just 85 euros per semester. The reason why education is so cheap here is that public universities get massive funding from the government. On the other hand, private universities need a good mix of a little bit of government funding, tuition fees and private donations to sustain their operations. At a typical private university, you can expect to pay between 10,000 and 15,000 euros per year for a bachelor's program and between 10,000 and 20,000 euros per year for a master's degree. Here is a list of some private universities in Germany and their fees. Now, private university education comes with a big price tag. This sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But if you compare it with other popular study destinations in the world, the cost difference is not that crazy. For example, the annual tuition for an MBA program in the UK would cost roughly the same as a degree program at a private university in Germany. So it might still be a better idea to study in Germany than anywhere else. Next, let's talk about the admission criteria for public and private universities, because there are some important differences. Now, the thing I can say is that public universities typically have stricter admission criteria. This makes sense, right? So many people apply for public universities in Germany. They are really popular, and 90% of all the 20,000 degree programs are offered at public universities here. A lot of degrees at public universities have a selection process, especially popular and highly competitive ones. They use this to filter out the good candidates, and the academic standards are quite high. But private universities, they all heavily rely on tuition fees from students. They need the money to function. So what they do is, they might not be that strict when it comes to admission requirements. They might even consider applications where students fall short of specific entry requirements. For example, if your language proficiency is below the set benchmark, a private university might let you in after you complete a prep course. In many cases, private universities also have admission criteria that go beyond academic achievements. They put more emphasis on the interviews, portfolios and hands-on experience. And yes, they want the money, so as long as you can pay the tuition fees and have stable qualifications, they will let you study. Nevertheless, admission to a German private or public university isn't guaranteed in any case. There is no 100% guaranteed admission. I say this in a lot of my videos, a strong academic track record is still very beneficial if you apply. At both public and private universities, you need to fulfill all the basic requirements. So when we look at the two types of universities, it becomes clear that the degree programs they offer are also different. So depending on what you want to study, a public or private university might be a better idea. In Germany, there are over 20,000 study programs. You can look them up on the DAA database or on My German University. 2,000 are English taught, and 90% of these 20,000 degree programs are offered at public universities. Now, this is not a surprise if you consider that some of these public institutions have global prestige, a lot of money and a long history. Some of them have existed for hundreds of years. So you have a lot of choices at public universities when it comes to degree programs. One single public university usually has more than 100 different ones you can pick from. Technical University of Munich, 200 study programs. Humboldt University of Berlin, 170. There's definitely gonna be one that fits you well. So yes, public universities are the leaders when it comes to the number of study programs, but private institutions are really good in their own field because they provide exclusive offers that public universities don't have. Private universities are really flexible. They are not that big, so they can move faster than big, heavy public institutions. And this means that they can create innovative degree programs in fields where competition is very low and demand in the job markets is very high. They can make custom programs for particular industries, and they do this very, very effectively. If you do some research on private universities, the institution itself is oftentimes sometimes very specialized. A good example is the Frankfurt School of Management, a popular private university for the finance industry. Or you can study medicine at a private university. So people who want a highly specialized program often realize that private institutions are a better fit for their careers because of the focused approach. I would say that private universities are also more international student friendly, or let's say English speaker friendly. I've heard a lot of voices from the people in our community who want to study in an English taught program in Germany. One example is computer science. A lot of students want to study computer science in English here, but this particular degree program is really rare at public universities. But at private universities, it's quite easy to find. Everything has its price. Now let's talk about the teaching and the resources. What I've noticed is that at a lot of public universities, you will have lecture halls packed with hundreds of students. They are massively overcrowded. So for one professor, there are like 300 students. I used to study at the Technical University of Munich, and in the first semester, there were so many people in each lecture. Hundreds of people come to listen to algebra. This can be annoying, but also positive because you have a lot of people around you to network with and a more diverse community. It really depends on what you like. Private universities naturally have a lower teacher-student ratio, and this really boosts the learning atmosphere. There's gonna be a lot more personalized attention and teaching approaches that fit you well. With smaller class sizes, you also get better group dynamics. Everything is more intimate and it's better for effective collaboration. But this is very important. The universities of applied sciences, they are public institutions. These ones also have a smaller number of students. I study computer science and design at the University of Applied Sciences in Munich, and the class size is like 20 people. Most professors know us by name, and it's overall a very personal environment. So the crazy overcrowded lecture is something you only get in a very popular degree program at huge public universities. Most of the time, it's gonna be chill. Now, when it comes to resources, public universities are supreme in research. If you wanna do top tier, big boy research, it's better to go to a public university because that is a place where they really focus on research. Government funding, a lot of money is put into this, so they will have the best infrastructure for that. Large campuses, big libraries, research centers, and sports facilities. Private universities don't focus too much on research, but they have better resources when it comes to taking care of the students. Some of them offer organized accommodation and prestigious internships for students. And yes, you're paying a lot of money, so the condition of the classrooms, the building, and all of that stuff is probably gonna be very modern. Now, if you are an international student, you wanna go to a prestigious university when you study abroad, right? If you look at the international rankings, we see a lot of public universities in higher positions. Of the top 500 universities in the entire world, 43 are German universities, and only 2 of these 43 are private. Now, just because you don't see private universities on these rankings, it doesn't mean that they are trash. Universities of applied sciences are also not on the rankings, but they are a fantastic way in Germany to get your education. These big international rankings mainly focus on research. Private universities in Germany are primarily recognized within the country, but this doesn't affect the quality, it's just that they don't do much research. So don't pay too much attention to the ranking thing, it's only a small factor amongst many others. You don't have to graduate from a top-ranked university in Germany to get a high-paying job. Okay, so let's talk about jobs. If you study in Germany, you also want to successfully get the degree and then secure a job and start a great career, right? When it comes to employability, your ability to get a job, in most cases, the university you select is not necessarily going to influence it as much as you think. There are some surveys in Germany that try to research the employers' confidence in German university graduates, and they showed that employers have a slight preference for candidates from public universities. A degree from a public university is often accepted without any skepticism. But if you show a degree from a private university, they might ask some questions or raise their eyebrows. Some employers could think that you were not good enough for the public one. And on top of that, if the program was taught in English, they might think that you were too lazy and didn't want to commit to learning German. So they are like, ah well, this person is not planning to stay in Germany that long. However, if you want to stand out in a competitive niche, certain universities can actually boost your career. In specific study domains, for example, private institutions in Germany are going to be better. Private ones will definitely help you more when it comes to getting a job after graduation. For example, in the business and finance industry, private universities will connect you with prestigious consulting companies like McKinsey so that you you have a good start into your career right after graduating. Now, I don't want to poo-poo on private or public universities. Both are great and have their own benefits, but you need to figure out what is important to you. You and I, we might have different preferences, and that's okay. In my opinion, if you prioritize a tuition-free education from a top-tier institution and are comfortable with larger classes and slightly less personal service, a public university is a good fit. But if you can easily afford to pay the tuition fees, if you want a more personalized experience with superior service, facilities and smaller class sizes, and you're not really concerned about the university's brand recognition, a private university might be the optimal choice for you. I myself picked a public university, a University of Applied Sciences, and I'm really satisfied. This type of university might actually be the perfect middle ground, with fewer people, new degree programs, and very good job opportunities. So don't forget to download the free Studying in Germany guidebook in the video description and join our huge Discord community. Love you and stay focused.